Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream. My name is Nick, and this channel is the Orbital Alliance. Thank you all for being here. I see a bunch of you in the lobby. Hopefully you can hear me and see me clearly. Feel free to engage in the chat throughout the evening. It's going to be a real fun one, and I'm going to kick off here with a couple of cool announcements, and most of all, regarding what we're doing here tonight. Now, if you've been around on my channel, I have been doing live streaming for some time. At least it did in the past. I regularly live streamed every week here, just talking about space, and it was always just me. But I recently kicked off the stream again with a different intention. The goal was to start bringing people into the stream with me because, let's be honest, I'm not that interesting. you know, everyone else has something to contribute to a conversation, and sometimes when it's just one-sided, it's just not that exciting. So I decided I wanted to take the stream to the next level. I basically wanted to evolve it from just a live stream into being a video podcast, essentially. And I expect this to change and evolve over time as well. But this tonight is the first step in that journey to being a multi-person conversation. So tonight I'm bringing someone into the chat. I'm using a new platform that we've been testing out recently. It's called StreamYard, and it's been really awesome. So tonight is also a little bit of a test, so to speak. So bear with me if there are any sort of issues. Everything should be going smoothly. I did a lot of practices and everything, so I think we're in good shape. But all that being said, like I'm really excited to see what this can become for the Orbital Alliance. If you're new here or if you're a brand new sub, I just want to say thank you guys for your time and your commitment to the channel. I love space. I hope you guys love space. And even if you don't love space, this might be the place where you can discover space, you know? Like it means so much to me that we as humans have the opportunity to learn about the night sky at any moment. Like we have access to it, whether you have equipment or not. You can go outside, look at the night sky, see something cool, and that sparks curiosity. Like it makes you wonder, what is that? What did I just see? What am I looking at? Why is it there? There's just so much to learn. Nobody knows it all. And again, that's kind of the point of having multiple people here, is that we can have two different perspectives and we can bounce them off each other and see, hey, what have you seen in that sky? What have you seen? What have you learned? And how does that compare? But also just to meet cool people along the way. You know, something about me, I have been into astronomy my whole life. I've always been interested in space, but I didn't get serious about it until I was in the end of my high school age, 18 or so. I got my first telescope. I'm 33 now. So I fast forward, whatever the math is, 15 years in time. And I'm still using the same telescope, and I'm doing astrophotography now, but I've always kind of done it alone. That was like nobody in my actual life was ever as passionate about space as I was. So I always felt like, yeah, it's just something I do. And people just kind of like, yeah, that's cool. But as I started doing more on the internet, through the Orbital Alliance, I created this space channel to help people learn about space and astrophotography. I started learning that there are a lot more of us out there. There are so many people who love what I love. And that there is the power of the internet, getting a chance to connect with folks you otherwise would never have met. So this kind of leads into the story of tonight. So I, of course, create content here on YouTube, and I've been doing that for about 2.5 years, actually a little over 2.5 years now, only until probably the end of last year, November. So I started posting to TikTok, and I started making space content there. And it wasn't long before I learned that you could, live stream through your telescope on TikTok. And then I learned that there were tons of other people who did the same thing. And, I started getting connected with those folks. Like there was a particular person who reached out to me, and he was so nice. And it was like, we have a community, a Discord channel, and there's a community of people in here who do the same thing you do. Would you like to join it? And I was like, yes. So this community is called the Astro Nerds. And I was like, okay, I think I'll fit in pretty well right here. But I joined this Discord, and I started seeing some familiar names on TikTok in the feeds and in the Discord. started joining some live streams of people who were broadcasting the moon and the sun, all kinds of cool things, and started to get to know a few of them a little bit more. Started to get on a bit of a first name basis with some folks and their live streams, and we became regulars. And that's kind of the culture that exists over there in terms of like spaciness on TikTok. And I was really impressed by that. But then there was a particular streamer who I just got really close with on the live streams. And then I learned that we actually ended up living in the state. And then we learned that we were kind of within driving distance of each other, which I found to be kind of blowing. So we've become friends now through TikTok and getting to know each other. And I thought, hey, you know what? Like, if there are people like me who are so close to me in proximity, not just on the internet, but physically, I was like, I need to get to know these people. I need to build relationships and have more fun with the thing that I love, because there are other people out there who do the same. So anyway, this is like my super, super, super long-winded story of how I met Joe, who is otherwise known as Godfather Astro, who is going to be joining me here in just a second. I'm going to bring him into the stream. He's my first guest ever on this video podcast. And I'm just like really, really excited to do this. So Joe has been awesome. I got kind of, like I said, got to just have some banter back and forth. We've done some mutual live streams. We've just hung out and got to know each other over TikTok. But this might be the first time I actually get to really get to know him is in front of you guys, the internet. And I think many of you who might be joining us tonight are also Astro nerds from that community. So if you are, definitely say hello. I'm looking here in the chat. I am seeing a couple friends here. What's up? We've got Valerie. I'm going to feature some comments here. How's it going, Valerie? Hey, Kiffer. I see Kiffer. He's one of my dear friends and fellow content creators on TikTok. He is AKA_Kiffer. He's also on YouTube. Awesome guy. We've got Front Yard Astro. How's it going? Heard the Godfather will be here. Yeah, you bet. He'll be here shortly. I'm going to bring him in. Got all kinds of folks. Here's my buddy, Greg. What's up, Greg? Good to see you, man. He's a regular. Greg is one of my top supporters. He reposts, reshares everything that I post on social media, and he's just so he's been around since the beginning, so love it. Tony Teabag Thompson, what's up, my friend? Good to see you. Don't know if you have Andrew with you, but if you do, tell him Spaceman says hello. Yeah, sweet. Well, good to see you all. I think it's about time we cut to the chase here, because we're going to have a really great discussion tonight about astrophotography, telescopes, space in general, and just what it means to be an astro nerd. So without further ado, I'm going to bring aboard Joe. So Joe, hopefully you are ready. Here you come. I'm going to add you to the stream. Hey,
what's going on, Nick? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Man, this is really cool. We get to see each other face to face and have a real conversation without a moon or a sun in our way.
Right. That might be a loss for some, to see my face instead of the moon.
Right. It's all good. It's all good. Well, you could say the moon is grayer than either of us, though. So that's a good thing. Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's such an honor to be on here. And it's, again, I love our story that you said, how we found out that we're like within driving, we're astro neighbors, so to speak. So it's really cool that you invited me on, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Yeah. Thank you very much for making the time. It's a Sunday night. It's obviously a work night. So I'm very grateful for, you just making the space for it, pun intended, all the way. And I think we're going to have a great time. It's going to be a blast tonight.
Awesome.
I'm going to just mess with the layout here. I'm going to switch over to this one. So what do you guys think? We're going to have the background, get the wide shot, get the full view, or the side by side?
You guys see the full man cave in effect?
Hey, there you go. Yeah, totally. I see some musical instruments back there, a guitar.
Yeah, that looks really good in the corner. I utterly failed trying to play that.
Dude,
and then I think you see the Astro Dog. There's Darwin in the back taking a nap.
Darwin, yes. Yeah, well, I'm kind of similar. I have a guitar that I don't play in this corner.
Right. Every guy needs a guitar that they don't play.
Yeah, precisely. Oh my gosh. We got a couple comments here. I'll feature some comments throughout the conversation here tonight. So definitely please engage in the chat. I will try my best to pay attention during the conversation and maybe feature a few that stick out. Kipper says hello. He says, "What's up, Joe?"
Hey, Kipper, what's up? I'm not able to see the chat because my screen gets so bright in the squared out. So I'm going to leave it up to you to pin any messages that are directed my way, or just if you can make me aware. So guys, if you say hello to me in the chat, I'm sorry, I'm not able to see it. I got to make this look as good as possible.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, totally. I'll do my best. And if I'm referring to one, I'll feature it so we both can see it in the actual view. Yeah, great. So let's cut to the chase here. We obviously have all the time in the world. You just let me know if we're hitting a limit for you. Happy to end it when you need. Want to respect your time. But other than that, let's get right to the basics. Why Godfather Astro? Why did you choose that for your moniker on social media?
So if you're a fan of my TikTok lives, you know that I'm like an Italian American first generation, and like any good Italian that was raised in the 80s, like we're all about the Godfather. So that kind of stuck, and anything I kind of do, I stick that in front of. So it just ended up being Godfather Astro, and it kind of stuck. It makes me smile when people are like, "Oh, the Godfather of astronomy," and I'm like, "Wow, I only started like 2 years ago, but hey, I'll take it." So,
yeah, well, I mean, you don't break anybody's legs when they don't show up to your stream, though, do you?
I mean, if the companies don't send me the telescope on time, you shouldn't probably own a horse.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. So you kind of have this, you bring your ethnic background into your lineage, into your identity, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You also kind of do something on TikTok that you've just started. You have this sort of avatar that you have alongside. It's like this astronaut image that's like AI generated. It has your face kind of melded into it. Why don't you tell us about that a little bit?
So, I was kind of I was making a video for TikTok, and I don't know, my hair was a mess, and I was like, you know what, I want to try something different, and we were messing around with it at work. What is it called? Midjourney.
Oh yeah,
You're right. And so I was just like, oh, mafia astronaut, and it came up with something. And then, being the, wannabe center of attention all the time, I said, well, I don't want that face. I need this face. So I'm kind of all right with Photoshop, and created that, and then found a different program that can actually animate it so it moves as you talk. And I've been having so much fun using that, as incorporating that into my videos. And now I'm having so much more fun asking my viewers or the astro nerds now to start making guest appearances, and I turn them into these CGI astronauts. And I did my first one with Professor Nixie, and I can't tell you, I've got one cooking. We're waiting for the right thing to bring this surprise person into, because I think it's going to be such a great way to have people who engage with me on my live streams be not just part of the live stream, to be actually part of my content, which I think makes me smile, and I think it would mean a lot to them as well. So.
Yeah, totally. That's cool. And what do you call your avatar? You have a name for it? Did you mention
it? So there's me, and then I develop guests. So I've got Cousin, and he's the older, more Italian version of me. And one of these days, I want to apparently he works in space. And we're still working out the story how he got there, because he's completely unqualified to work in space. So it's going to be a funny story about some delivering something and then not realizing the rocket was taking off, and now he's a member of this team in space. So there's a little precursor as to Cousin.
Yeah.
And you can tell I've been watching too much of The Bear. So there's a TV show with Cousin in there. So
I actually didn't really know what that show was until tonight. We were with some friends and somebody mentioned that. So it's fresh in my head.
There you
Somebody
go.
was
So yeah,
talking
so when
about
you
it.
see cousin there, you'll be like, that's where he got it from.
Okay. Full circle moment. Yeah, that's fantastic. And so let's just talk a little bit too about your background and passion for space. Like, let's start
Sure.
with that. So like what got you interested in space and astronomy and astrophotography? Can you walk us a little bit through that journey for you?
Sure. So, my journey started a long time ago. I needed an elective for college, or I was going to college at the time, and it was like 18, or whatever you are when you're college. That's long ago, but I saw astronomy, and I thought, wow, that sounds cool. I'd like to know more about that. And kind of caught hey, Ryan, hey, James, kind of caught the bug from this amazing professor that I had, that he was talking about visiting the Europa moon and putting a probe in there and hoping to see, like, it was just, he got me so into it. And then what was really cool, at the community college that I was going to, there was a telescope that they had, and he had an open night. I didn't know anything about star parties or nothing like that. It ended up being on some Saturday that there was something going on, and only me and one other student went. And I got the whole night, and he showed me the Ring Nebula. Like, I didn't, like, I couldn't believe that there were these things in space. I was just like, wow. Then life happened. You get married, you start a career, and that I just couldn't pursue it. That wasn't in my field. And then in 2020, the world kind of made time for everything that was home based. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a telescope. I remember how cool that was. So no idea how to do anything. Went on Amazon like most first timers do, and don't do that. Let me try and save you. Don't do that. I bought something off Amazon. Now I got awesome views of the moon, and then that led me into going, no, I want a better view of the moon. I called a few of the telescope companies, spoke with some of their sales representatives. That's how you should start this process. They gave me some better advice based off of what I kind of wanted to do. And man, it turned from, oh, I'm going to do visual only, to, no, I'm just going to take pictures of planets. No, I'm going to just do EAA. And now I'm kind of all in on faint nebulas. So, like, I can't tell you how much space is, as big as space is, so is this hobby.
Yeah.
That there is so much, and I've got just a year and a half or 2 years of a toe dipped in this big pond, and man, I love every minute of it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's a wonderfully unique story, and it is also, in a sense, common that people kind of stumble upon this and they realize just how huge it is and how much, again, I'm going to make this pun endlessly tonight, how much space space there is for them to explore on their own. Like, it's never going to be a saturated hobby, and there's something for everybody. There's so many different subgroups within it. So it's that's amazing. And as you were talking about how only 2 of you showed up to that star party and you kind of got the whole night to yourself, made me think about how every time we say no to something, somebody else is discovering their life passion or next hobby.
Right.
Like you go to that party or that outing, like somebody else might have their life changed, and that you're making the space for someone to do that. So there is maybe a silver lining to not showing up to things. I don't know.
I guess I'm thankful for all those kids who thought they were too good for that. And, that might be a commentary of my social life back when I was 18, more than that was like that I had no bigger plans on Saturday. But I'm glad I did. But that seed took, how many years to germinate and take hold. So thank you, Star Walker. Appreciate it. Thank you. This is so different than TikTok streaming. So, So now you guys see how I wave my hands around on TikTok, but you guys don't see that. Now I feel like you're fully seeing it.
Totally. Well, yeah, I'm so curious to know more, and we can definitely get into the weeds a little bit, probably in a couple minutes, about like what
Yeah,
type of photography you do and all that.
sure. Yeah.
But I just want to take a second here to again thank everybody for tuning in. I see we've got 11 people, at least on my end. The data is showing me here. So thank you everybody for making the time to join in the live stream. My name is Nick for the Orbital Alliance, and this is Joe, otherwise known as Godfather Astro. He is my first guest here on this live stream series that I guess I'm again kind of trying to pioneer a video podcast. But it's really exciting again to have Joe here, and we got a bunch of astro nerds featured here in the comment section. So whether you're an astro nerd or not, please say hello. I would love to feature you in the stream. I'll pull your comments up here. I did see Valerie mentioned Portillo's.
Yes. Wait, is there a goodie bag for your first guest? Does it involve Portillo's? I would absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
I'll take a cheddar and beef, please. Thank you.
Yeah, done. I mean, let's meet up. Let's just go right over there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, we can find one between us, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hey, I also wanted to say, I think this is a great idea. I absolutely love the idea of doing this kind of one-on-one format. I know we all want to be out looking up, but it's kind of cool to see the person behind the telescope. Yeah. And there are so many of us, I know in the TikTok Astro Nerd community that have amazing stories, that have amazing personalities. So I know I'm going to be in on watching each one of these podcasts as you bring them out. So great idea. Bravo.
Thank you. Yeah, it's you and I had a chance to sort of connect just briefly about the vision going forward with this, and I was like, I would love to one day be able to interview an astronaut, like maybe from space, maybe just from on the ground here when they're in training, or a retired astronaut, or whatever it is, or somebody that works at NASA. These like kind of high profile things. I was like, yeah, but you know what, like, it doesn't have to be the case. Like, I would love to work towards that. But right now, as I've got this amazing community of people that I want to get to know right now. And I was like, that's a wonderful way to start this, is to like have all these people from all over the world who we've met and gotten to know, and are, just as interesting as an astronaut. We're all touching space in some way. And it's like, you don't have to go that route just yet. I was like, let's just live in this world. So I'm looking forward to having the chance to, do tonight and look at the next couple of months and bringing on other folks who are like us, who just love to learn as much about a space as we can, or take pictures about space, all sorts of things like that. So my plan is to, I guess my goal ultimately is to structure this as kind of an every other week sort of rhythm, where I'm basically doing 2 streams a month, and I'll have a different guest on each stream. So, but with StreamYard, the possibilities are endless. Really, you can bring a ton of people in at once, or you can have just 1 or 2. Like, you can do whatever you want. So, it's gonna be a good time going forward, and I'm excited to pioneer it. And again, I'm grateful for you having the courage to step on board, be the first one.
Not gonna lie, I was kind of nervous. I was just like, oh, it feels like the first time I went live on TikTok. But then, you know what? The minute you start talking, that kind of goes away, and so I'm now kind of, the jitters are over now. So
right,
hopefully,
totally, yeah. Well, they'll calm down. Yeah, I was like feeling the adrenaline pump, especially during the countdown at the top of the stream. I was like, this is starts to feel real.
Yeah, for sure.
Get a feature kit for here. I'm not an astro nerd, but it is very interesting just here to support good people. Dude, you're good people. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Kiffer just moved in a new apartment today. So, I mean, the fact that you're here spending an hour or whatever with us, that's awesome. Hello, me, myself, and Plants.
Hey, Susan, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
She's great, by the way. Yeah, she's a big supporter of she's a giant supporter of the Astro Nerds, and just an amazing. We have a community, we call them the Astro Ladies. She's one of the pioneers of that group. So
cool.
Big ups.
That's great. We got another Cosmo Kramer.
I like that. Thank you. That's awesome name.
And James, what's up, James? Anyone can be an astronerd.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
I think
That's
as long
true.
as you.
James is amazing at astrophotography.
Mhm.
That's someone you need to circle up with because he taught me a lot. Actually, a lot of this conversation, when we start getting into a little bit of the weeds, you're going to start hearing me reference certain people,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and that is one of them that kind of got me to where I am now. So.
cool. Well, that's actually a perfect segue. How did you get wrapped up in the astronerds? Who was the
So,
connection point?
yeah, so fighting with my telescope, I'll tell a story, but there'll actually be a good parable in it if you watching this and you're like, oh, I want to get involved in this. So I did kind of mention something about, oh, just don't buy something. You should speak to like one of the telescope companies out there, and there's a few: High Point Scientific,
Mhm.
Asteroid GN. There's a few. Um, but if you call them, you can schedule time with a rep, and they'll start asking you questions like, "Oh, what would you like to see? Are you going to do just visual? Are you going to just do planets? Do you want to see? Do you want to take pictures?
Mhm.
Then what do you want to take pictures of?" There's so many caveats because there's so many kinds of telescopes. Um, so obviously, I was just like, well, I want something easy, and I want to see the planets, but I kind of want to see other things and I kind of want to take pictures. So obviously wanted everything. But
Right. Yeah.
so they mentioned something, and I remember going, well, they mentioned a 102 millimeter refractor, which it's it's funny because I'll circle back.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, okay. I go, well, what's one step better? Right. And because I'm like, well, and they're like, well, there's a 120 millimeter, but with refractors, and I didn't know then, they get longer and heavier,
Uh-huh.
and they become more awkward. And the longer the focal length and the heavier a telescope is, the less you are going to use it, or the more you're going to be frustrated, and especially if you're a new to astronomy.
Yeah.
Um, so of course I went that route. I was like, I overrode whatever that person told me and said, no, I want the biggest and just send me that one. And when that showed up at my doorstep, I thought they delivered an artillery piece. I was just like, what
Yeah.
is this gigantic tube?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So because of that, I started. Somebody told me about TikTok and these funny cat videos, so I obviously joined TikTok, and then from there, I started watching Chase the Milk
Yeah.
and Professor Nixie,
Mhm.
and then that led to all the other astro nerds. But I started watching their lives, and I started like asking questions in their comment section, and then that's when I bought a Dobsonian for the first time. And a Dobsonian is just a big 8-inch tube. It looks like a water heater, but
Yeah.
it's an amazing telescope for a beginner. So if your next question is, okay, you had that problem, what would you recommend? 8-inch Dobsonian. Little
Mhm.
big, but for visually, it's amazing. You'll love
Yeah,
it.
totally.
Got that, and with their help, started learning the night sky. And then once you start learning your bearings, like, oh, the Orion Nebula isn't out 12 months a year. Like I'm going to be naive like that. I had no idea. I was like, why can't I see the Orion Nebula? Because
Yeah.
it's June.
Right.
You're not going to see it. You got to wait till winter.
Yeah.
So you start learning all those things, and then what eyepieces and astronomy is not one of those things that more means better.
Mhm.
So like a 25 millimeter eyepiece is really good. Like there's a reason why most telescopes get delivered with a 20 or 25 millimeter eyepiece,
Yeah. Yeah.
because most things are visible in that magnification. Obviously planetary, you want a little different setup, but
Mhm.
that right there, to see the Pleiades star cluster, the Beehive star cluster, visually Orion's Nebula, in an 8-inch Dobsonian, these showpiece items are fantastic. So these are things I learned from the astro nerds, and one leaned into the other, and then when my journey took me more towards taking pictures, that's what led me into being friends with James Brink, Ryan Astro, Stargazer Elliott. Um, then that, like, it's like I said, this journey is great because it's not the start and it's not the finish. It's the
Mhm.
long path through the middle that makes this hobby amazing.
Yeah. Man, you put that really well. And yeah, it's isn't it cool how there was that snowball of connections that you started making, and it just
Mhm.
you get access with every person you meet, and with every relationship you build, you gain access to their experience and their information, and it becomes a two-way street. Like what you know goes to them, what they know comes to you, and then it's like this literal network of like a hive mind of astronomy knowledge,
Right. Right.
and I think that's where the like community effect comes into play, is that you get to do it together, and I think everybody has something to offer. So, dude, that's so cool.
Yeah,
Um,
because I can't even imagine if I didn't have that community.
mhm.
You said it before. I think in your opening, you were like, "Well, I didn't have friends who liked space." Well, neither
Mhm.
did I,
Yeah.
and I didn't know anybody, and like I didn't even know where to buy a telescope. There's no telescope stores, near me where you could just walk in
Yeah.
and see what one looks like. I mean, you just literally get surprised. You're like, "Oh, there we
Yep.
go." Um,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
between these great, creators on TikTok, yes, exactly, Susan, um, and YouTube, this platform. I mean, I think we were joking before. I'm pretty sure I could teach myself, brain surgery. There's
Yeah.
some 10 steps on how to do brain surgery.
Right.
But, there's a creator here on YouTube called Ed Tang, I want to say his name is.
Mm.
And this gentleman, like when I was first starting my journey, he it just delivers information in such a friendly way. Actually, I take a lot of my mannerisms from him
Okay.
because he's like personable, he's like very low key. He does these he'll interview he'll review the cheapest telescope, and he'll tell you like, yeah, this is a struggle, but he'll say why and then what you can do with it if this is all you can kind of afford.
Mhm.
And then he'll go right up to like, this amazing, obsession 28-inch Dobsonian that you need a ladder to go and look at. But um
Right.
there are ways to learn this hobby.
Mhm.
And I definitely want to make sure that my message today is don't get intimidated. Um, and a lot of my story is I can, if there's a time in this podcast, I can share my screen. I brought up some images that
Mhm.
I've taken and some of the very first.
Yeah.
And I remember taking them and being so proud of them and then looking at them now and because like skill, talent, and or like developed and better equipment, sure, but those pictures will still make me smile because I remember that feeling I had associated to that. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the Orion Nebula. Like
Yeah.
that is wow. you know
Right. Yeah. And then every time you take it again, you see this beautiful ladder of progression. And
Mhm.
it's like you look back at your old photos and you're like, wow, that was absolute trash. But I loved it at the time and it changed my
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
So
No,
you
and you shouldn't hide from those photos because those are the yardsticks in your life,
Mhm.
the mile markers. And without those initial steps, um, you don't just, pick up a camera and I'm sure in your career, you didn't pick up a camera and go, well, I'm great at this. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. I mean, I wish it did, but it doesn't. But
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, totally. It's always like an evolution, and you do have to start somewhere.
yes,
And the best of the best of the best started where you started too. It's like
yep.
nobody gets a free pass on experience.
Right. Got to
Yeah.
hit all those pitfalls.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Gonna take a quick second here to plug Joe. If you are on TikTok and you'd like to support Joe, thank you for being here. Give him a follow on TikTok. He's at Godfather_Astro. I have it here on the screen for you, so you can go and find him. And he's great. He makes educational and funny content, all kinds of stuff, and it's just so worth the time. And his live streams are so entertaining. I love just chilling with Joe, so I think you guys would like
cool.
him too. So
Thank you so much. I
uh,
appreciate that.
totally. And if you guys are enjoying the stream tonight, would appreciate your like on the video would make a huge
Yes, please.
difference. And if you would like to see more episodes of this and also see some of the space news videos that I do every week or other astrophotography content, I would also appreciate your subscription here on YouTube. The Orbital Alliance would make a huge difference to me. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Good to see you all here. Gonna check in the comments. I'm missing a couple here. See what I can do.
Sure.
Let's see here. All right. Hello,
And
everybody.
while you're looking through that, guys, I want to second that. Please give Nick from the Orbital Alliance your support here on YouTube and over on the TikTok channel. He does amazing content. I'm not the science person, obviously. He is, so I would say, definitely he will clue you in on really cool information, and then I'll play music over the top of the picture of it.
There you go. Hey, dude, music is powerful. Music is more than half the experience of a video. It matters, and that takes engineering and passion to pick the right music. There are a lot of people who get that wrong, so I think you're doing the right things. Here's a lovely comment. Joe is such an awesome person.
Oh, Lewis, that's my brother from another mother. Like me and him, when he first started, we started talking, and I used to joke with him. Are you sure you're not family? I think we're family, and he's got his lives are fantastic, and he has an array of scopes that makes NASA jealous. Like NASA spends a lot of money on one telescope. Lewis spends it on getting all of them. Yeah, there you go. Right. So
web telescope.
There you go. Yeah, so that's another gentleman that your support should definitely go to. I suspect there's a lot of them in the chat that definitely needs that.
Yeah. Hello, Jessica. Welcome in.
Oh, hey. Thanks for being here.
Let's see. We got a lot. You got a lot of praise here. Joe has beautiful images.
Oh, thank you.
Dazzle
Shine. Thank you.
Thanks for
Dazzle Shine. There's a picture, like later if I do show and tell. I have one of the pictures I sent Dazzle Shine. She's amazing at processing. And processing is, well, we can go into that later. But I sent some data to Dazzle, and she took my cave. I keep calling it the Bat Cave, but it's the Cave Nebula. And what she did to that data, like, made it shine. So it's so good to see the Astro Nerds here. I'm so happy they showed up, and a lot of my favorites are there. So thank you for pinning that. That's awesome.
Yeah, you bet, man. I'm going down the list here. You also have compliments on your cooking.
Oh yeah, thanks. yeah. Occasionally I'll leak my pizza making into it. That's an ad. My family used to own restaurants, so when I was a teenager, I ran a pizzeria, like one of them that my family had. So that's kind of another of that Godfather influence. So
Joe's bubble nebula image is awesome.
Oh yeah, that was today.
That a chef's kiss right there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, ask him about cooking. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know what I like about coming from an Italian family is the men in our family cooked. Our moms also cooked, but it was funny that your mom would cook Monday through Thursday, but your father took over on Sunday. And one of the greatest things that I can be thankful for is that they taught me how to cook. I can't bake to save my life, but I can cook. And that is one of my other passions that my wife and her family truly like, because the holidays are usually good by our house.
Yeah.
So so definitely you'll occasionally see me sneak cooking into my TikTok stories.
Yeah.
See that landed well.
That's how you bring a little bit of yourself into your content, because everybody can stream the same image of the moon, but it's when you start talking about your passion for cooking that makes that stream about you, and it's like how you can come alive, right?
Yep.
Oh man. You also got a comment on your accents.
Well, that was a very late night live, and we're just gonna leave it at I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Yeah. We're
Merci beaucoup. And that'll about be the all day because we want to make sure your podcast succeeds.
Yeah, right. We're gonna omit which types of beverages were consumed that night, maybe.
Yeah, no. No, and this is just water in case my regulars are watching and they're like, what does he have in his cup? It's just water tonight.
Yeah, right. Yeah, same. Yeah, I'm rocking a big tall cup of water in this Post Malone cup from Raising Cane's.
Nice.
Yeah,
there you go.
And so good. You guys have been doing great, and the audience here, please do use the comments and throw in you know what you're thinking, or if you have questions. I'll try to get to them as we talk, so I'll do my best to have you guys engage. If I feature one, I'll post it in here.
Awesome.
Oh, here's one for you.
Hey. Oh, right there, Laura. She is a dear friend of ours, and let me tell you, her baking skills, even though that's not her career anymore, she's fantastic. So
nice. Let's see here. Yeah, great. So let's keep the ball rolling here. Yeah. So let's talk about what type of astrophotography you do. So there's, of course, like we were talking about, there's all different kinds. You can be doing planetary or deep sky, and there's a bunch of different subtypes of deep sky. You can do wide fields and Milky Way. Like, what kind of astrophotography do you do, and why are you drawn to that type?
Okay, so I started out doing planetary, and planetary is very. We'll start with how that works. So that requires a longer focal length telescope. So something like a Maxitoff or an SCT, a Smith-Cassegrain telescope, anywhere from like 127 millimeter to an 8-inch SCT, and then there's some astro nerds that have a C11, like 11-inch Curtis astrophotography, and those high focal length. High magnification telescopes, you could do amazing planetary imagery, because what you're doing is, because the planets are small, you're using these small pixels, very cameras that only have like a 1 megapixel, they only take 1 megapixel, because the idea is that you're taking a movie and you're hoping you get a high frame rate. Something
like this.
Yes, right there. Exactly. Yeah, is that 120 mini?
This is the 224.
Oh, 224. Okay, yeah, there you go. So yeah, exactly. So what you're hoping for is that you're doing something called lucky imaging, and you're taking on Jupiter like a 60-second movie clip, and you're hoping to get a couple thousand images, and then you run that through processing, and you get rid of probably like 40% of the bad pictures, because there's wobbliness in the atmosphere, and there's, and I've got a tool here. I can show you how to check the seeing conditions on your, when you go out, and seeing is very important for planetary. So then that's how you get these pictures of Jupiter and Saturn. I started doing that because I love the planets. I love Jupiter. Like, Jupiter's my favorite. I love the Galilean moons. To me, that is like looking at our solar system in miniature, especially because you can, and I've got a picture of this too, you can catch the planets, or I'm sorry, the Galilean moons transiting in front of Jupiter, and they'll cast a shadow, and you'll see a dark spot. And there's even sometimes you can see, depending where in Jupiter, you can see the actual moon that's going by. And you can see my face lighting up, because that's just like one of my favorite things to capture. And then that transitioned into taking pictures of wide field targets, because at the time I had an ST80 or an 80 ED telescope, and a 400 millimeter. So say my 8-inch Smith-Cassegrain, my C8 telescope, that has a focal length, I want to say like over 2,000. The exact number escapes me, but it's over 2,000. I'm sure one of the astro nerds will drop it in the comment section. So, and then you put a 2 times Barlow, which doubles the magnification. And that, again, because you're going for, like, you're looking through a straw, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. I like that.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And then I switched gears 100% because I was like, oh, okay, I want to take a picture of the Beehive Nebula, or Orion's Nebula, or the Pleiades, and you need wide field for that. So then I learned, oh, for those items, you want a short refractor, a tinier one with a lower focal length that gets more wide images of the sky. Then you need a camera and I like using dedicated astro cameras. I was never good with a DSLR.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have amazing images with that. That befuddled me to no end.
Yeah.
So I use dedicated. So I started with a non-cooled 183, so an ASI 183, which gave a 20 megapixel camera, and I was able to capture these wide field targets. And now I've kind of graduated into going after the faint nebula. This is a little bit of Brinks and Stargazer Elliott that leaked into my brain, and I was just like, no, I want the faint stuff. So like really, I've been enjoying that, and not only that, I've been taking now this bubble nebula picture that me, myself, and plants mentioned. Was the first time I spent more than one night on a target. So I got over 5 hours of integration time, which is child's play to Elliot and Brinks. They build these giant mosaics that take a whole month for them to put together. But I'll let them, that's their thunder on their podcast because, when you try it, you know why I'm shaking my head, because it is a difficult and very patient process, because you hit go, and then you walk away, and that's a skill set in its own.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, those types of images where you kind of, they're not spray and pray, they're calculated and pray. Like that's like a wee bit terrifying. Sometimes you just have to trust your preparation and hope it works. Otherwise, you have to wait till who knows when there might be another round of clear skies, or that time of the year, or that event to happen again. Yeah, it can get real dicey.
There's a funny story. Not funny. It's actually I felt bad for her, but her name's Jen, the trading photographer, and she wrote in my comment section, and for one of my pictures that I took, that she had left her equipment running all night, only to find out that there was a giant dew blob on the lens, and the whole night wasted. And that's the hobby in a nutshell. Like it's utter glory or utter misery. Like
it's true. It's very true. I took my first attempt at Milky Way time lapse last summer, so a year and a half ago, and I knew that dew would be a factor, but I didn't do my homework. Sorry, there's the puns again.
Look at you. Very proud of you. Well done.
I didn't do my due diligence to check the dew point, and I got about 45 minutes of images, and then my camera lens got totally fogged over, and I was like, okay, that's never happening again. Luckily, the next night I was able to go out and redeem myself, but it's one of those things you learn, that the environment, the atmosphere, the weather, all of that, it plays such a huge factor, and that's just a piece of the pie. There's so many other things that can mess up your imagery, or make it better, for that matter. But
sometimes there are happy accidents. Like you're just totally. Like, I don't know how that worked out that way, but thank you. Thank you, astro gods, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think that happened just earlier this week. Gosh, what day? Sunday? Was it Monday? This kind of broke news. There was somebody who was imaging Jupiter, and they caught a meteor collision on Jupiter. There's a big bright flash.
Really? Recently?
Yeah, I think it was just past Monday, so like 6 days ago, which is crazy because I was imaging Jupiter Sunday night into Monday morning. So I was up at like 2 a.m. doing Jupiter, and I was like, I got to check my footage.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's wild.
So if you can find online later, like there's literally a white flash. It's like a couple of frames.
I gotta check that, because I forgot there was some comet that broke up and hit Jupiter, and this has got to be 10 years back now.
Yeah, it was Shoemaker Levy, I think, and I think it was 1993.
Oh, so more than 10 years back.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. It feels like it. Certainly after
Yeah, we're gonna say 10 years because that doesn't age out Joe so much. But yeah, but those impact points were like those pictures are breath because it literally left like wounds on Jupiter. It looked like so.
Yep.
That's again. This is why astronomy is amazing because recently there was a supernova, an M101. So the Pinwheel Galaxy. We were all and here we are on TikTok sharing live footage of this supernova going off in M101, and you're watching it getting brighter. And then if you kept going with it, you'd watch it dimming out. So there are some amazing things, and why you should be looking up if you can.
Right. Take your chances. Every time you're looking or you're taking an image, you're basically buying a galactic or an intergalactic lottery ticket. You might see something cool.
Right. And you're basically buying a time machine because you're looking back in time. Like the light left some of these items or these targets we're looking at in space, thousands and thousands of light years prior, and in the Hubble's case or in the James Webb, we're talking like billions of years prior, which is like wild that those items might not be there anymore.
Exactly. It's terrifying to think about sometimes. Yeah. I appreciate the pun support we got in the chat here.
Oh yeah.
Hello, Curtis. Welcome in.
Hey, we were just talking about you. So he's the one with the C11.
Okay, yeah. Nice. Kiffer also acknowledging puns on point. Yes, sir. We are on Valerie's TV, so we're
we're on big time.
Big frame right here.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. Lint snakes can cause problems too.
Yes. It did. So that's a good story. So the legend of the lint snake is when I first started, I never knew how to properly clean my eyepieces or just never did. And it would create these like dirt spots. And I can't remember who started. I wanted to say Zerillo Astro called it a lint snake or someone called it a lint snake. And then it's kind of like around the time I earned my badge of the tipsy astronomer. But I used to move the telescope to make it look like the snake was getting into a crater, getting out of a crater. So the lint snake now has become kind of one of my monikers. And although they don't appear anymore because I'm taking better evolutions. Yeah, I got better. I'm taking care of it. But our friend the lint snake will always be with us in spirit.
Yeah, totally. Oh, that's awesome. Here's a great question. What are the odds of seeing the Northern Lights in Illinois versus North Dakota? I would say every foot or meter, however you want to look at it, of Northern territory gained, you're just increasing your odds by that much more. I would say it's so rare to see the Northern Lights this far south, meaning Illinois. There are rare occasions where it does reach it, but they might not be that bright.
Recently, right?
There was one recently. I didn't see anything.
I didn't either. I got clouded out. But see, and that's the other thing. Even if on that rare occurrence where it is, you're dealing with Illinois weather, which is wait 10 minutes, it will change.
Yep.
Not usually for the better. So
exactly, it's true. Yeah. So North Dakota, I would say huge win. Go to North Dakota. If you're away from Chicago, you're way more rural out there. You're going to have a better chance just naturally, and the further north, the better. I know that you can see it.
Oh, now I know who Cosmo Kramer is. What's up, bud? Good seeing you here. that North Dakota tipped me off. I got you now.
It's all coming together.
Now I was just like, because it's like we're all using superhero names right now. So
there you go. Yeah, I think you can see the Northern Lights a lot of times in the UP of Michigan. You get a good chance to see them. Northern Minnesota, Southern Canada are kind of like where the sweet spot starts to begin. Obviously, the further north, like there's another astronaut, Justin with High Hopes Aurora.
Yes.
That guy's awesome. My gosh, I think he lives in Manitoba, and I've had the chance to be on a stream with him once or twice. and I don't know him that well, but I really hope to get to know him better, because every day this guy gets beautiful aurora all over and makes the most amazing content. So definitely go
He
check.
runs a service where you can actually he does guided aurora tours.
Oh, no
So
way.
like
Okay.
he'll meet you. I forget what it was, if you got to take a train there or what, but you go there. He has a place. He takes cares of all the particulars, and I mean, it sounds like one of those one in a lifetime trips, because you said it. His photos are amazing. They're
Yeah.
just, you're not going to see that anywhere else.
Right. Absolutely.
But he
Um,
can't do astrophotography because
mhm.
the aurora lights block out all the faint nebula. So there is where like we win that battle. And and that's to like where, yes, I get these amazing auroras, but you're not going to get to see, the bubble nebula. So
Right. Right. Yeah. Every bit of competing light,
mhm,
and every photon matters when you're doing deep sky imagery too, for sure. Because it's just
right.
you're fighting for that little bit to come through, and if something, even a dim thing, comes in the way, done. you know. Um, Hang on one second. It's really warm in here. I'm gonna see if this fan doesn't get too loud. So pardon me for a second.
Yeah. Hey, I'll just take this moment to thank everyone for joining. Sorry I can't see you in the comment section, but Nick is kind enough to, pin the ones that he's highlighting. So thank you for all my friends and family that showed up today, and everyone else in the comment section. I keep referring to it as if it was TikTok and it's YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you guys.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for joining in. Hopefully my fan is not hitting the mic. Let me know if it's getting loud, but that makes a huge difference to get some circulation up in here. This light that I have up here is like generating a lot of heat for me, and it's a very still room. But yeah, if you're just joining in, thank you. We're about an hour deep into this awesome conversation.
Wow,
with
already.
Yeah, I guess 59 minutes. And that includes the intro, so there's like a little shorter for us, but this is a wonderful conversation we're having with Joe, Godfather Astro, on TikTok. We are talking about astronomy, space, what it means to be an astro nerd, which is a community of fellow astrophotographers and space enthusiasts. It's been fantastic to keep going here. We got a lot to talk about. So please do engage in the chat. I will do my best to highlight a few featured comments if I can read them all. And then, we're going to continue the conversation. And again, I'm going to kind of plug the channel too. If you are interested in space and you've just stumbled upon the stream, I would love your support here on the Orbital Alliance, with a like on the video stream here and a subscription if you would like to see more content just like this. So thank you again for joining. I'll even throw up a banner here so you guys can.
Hey, look at you, all professionally. I appreciate that. Good.
Sweet. Well, moving on. Let's do some fun stuff. Let's break up the pace here.
Sure.
You said you had a couple of images that maybe you wanted to show. Let's take a look at some of your work on screen share.
Let's see what we got here.
I'll let you know when I see it on my end. So before I push it live here. So
cool. And then I think we can just do the entire screen here. I don't think I've got anything bad up here.
Hide your credit card information.
Yeah, right. I got my bank statement up here. You're gonna see me go. All right. So am I dropping out here? Are you guys actually seeing a web page here?
So no, I still have your picture up, but I see your stream here on the dock here on my side, so I can put it up live. So if you are ready.
Yep.
Great. Let me choose the layout here. And all right, here we go. I'm going to edit. So I see your screen. You are live.
All right. Let's of course I say that, and then I didn't bring up the actual picture that I wanted to do.
That's okay. Take your time, man.
Where is it? I just created a new folder specific for this called podcast. There we go. All right. So we're going to drop all this out and bring this up. Are you guys seeing that image there?
Yep.
All right. So this is my latest image of the Bubble Nebula, and this is near the constellation of Cassiopeia. And you would see this as the W that is rising in the northeastern sky. It looks like a big W, if that's the constellation of Cassiopeia. So this is like my latest, and this is like where my skill set is today. But let's show you where that journey started. And then this blurry one is a picture I took of the Orion Nebula in 2021.
Okay.
So you still can make out a lot there. And let me just hide this so I can actually see what we're looking at here. But I wanted to show you a progress. And then this was a year later.
What a difference. What a huge
Right.
difference.
Right. And then a year after that, or learning more, then you get this. Now, I want to also highlight these dust donuts, so you can thank the lint snake for these items. And this is why you take something called calibration frames. But I can't wait with the skill set I have now this winter to take this target again. So like now you get the Orion Nebula and a little bit of the Running Man Nebula here. So I mean, I just wanted to also demonstrate, like, you don't start perfect. And then this is a good picture to highlight. This is the Crescent Nebula. And this is when I thought I was getting really good. And then you start to buy the right filters, because filters are very important to astrophotography. It cuts down on the light. And this is using a dual narrowband filter and actually processing in PixInsight. And then that is that same image, but processed in PixInsight, more integration time, better guiding, no dust, no lint snakes in the picture.
Can you zoom in on that one a little bit? We see some
yeah, is that good?
Yeah, can you go a little bit more if you have any more room? That'd be awesome. Yeah, it's
sure.
It looks so good. Here, let me see if I can get more full screen. There we go. Drop us down to the bottom corner. That looks so cool. Yeah. Holy cow. Let's throw up some comments here. People are loving your work, Joe.
Oh, thank you. Very, very kind of you. Yeah, here, I'm sorry if I made it. Yeah, so there's the Crescent Nebula. Here is a beautiful, so this is why I've been getting so into faint nebula. So this is the Rosette Nebula. So this right here is beautiful. Let me get this up here. So this is a beautiful narrowband target here. And I wanted to give, Dazzle was here earlier. Let me bring that up here. And this is the Cave Nebula. So, and I lovingly call it the Batman Nebula. So the Batcave Nebula. And this was processed with Dazzle Shine. I gave her 2 hours of my data. And now I really want to say, when you have Stargazer Elliott, James Brink, Ryan Astro, the pros at astrophotography, what they're going to show you is going to blow this out of the water. So because they're going to spend a ton of time with integrating, their processing is way better than mine. But again, I'm showing you with 2 years of working at it, or 2.5 years of working hard at it, you can see the progression, and you'll have that same progression. It just takes time and patience. Here's another beautiful of the Cygnus Wall region.
Yeah.
And this is in HOO. So this is kind of like that Hubble palette almost. Like when Hubble takes pictures of things, it has those weird yellows and blues.
Yeah.
So this is a really pretty picture. This is the North American Nebula and the Pelican Nebula, or it looks like a pterodactyl. But these are, again, some of my favorite photos I've taken. Here is, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're good. I was going to just quickly interject. I know most of the people in the stream here are astronerds, but for the few of you who might just be coming to hang out casually, a nebula is basically a cloud of gas and dust somewhere out in the universe, mostly like in our galaxy, ones that we can see that are closer to us. You can see they're lit up and glowing with these fabulous colors. There's these shadows and all kinds of neat stuff. That's because nebulas are basically star nurseries. They are the spawn from the death of a star, but they end up like a phoenix from the ashes, birthing brand new stars. So like in this image right here, you can see the bright center, and it's fresh, hot blue early life stars that are just illuminating the dust clouds around you, and they put on an amazing show. And Joe is showing us some of his best shots of these nebulas. So, and a lot of these have really fun names because they, look like something that we're familiar with. Like, can you go back to the North America Nebula really quick?
Sure. Yeah. And this was the Iris Nebula. And because you were mentioning dust, this dark dust area is literally blocking the stars behind it. So that's why I love the Iris Nebula. And then this looks like the iris flower, basically.
Yeah.
But here, let me bring back the North American Nebula. Go ahead.
There we go. Yeah. So, like, I mean, it's obviously there looks like there's Mexico and maybe Florida, kind of off to the bottom. Right, it looks like North America. You mentioned pelican
right here.
Yeah, right there. It looks like a pelican. So these shapes will stay the same to us our entire lifetime. These won't change. It just takes way too long for the light to get here. So these likely don't look in real life like where they are, but the light that's coming to us is just so constant that we'll always be able to enjoy them as they are. So sorry, that was just my little interjection there, just to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Please do. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. And here, and this will be a good this is the Eastern and Western Veil Nebula. So this is in the constellation of Cygnus, which now Cygnus is like it. By the time it gets dark, Cygnus is almost at the zenith. So we're like right at, like, you have to look dead up. So it's hard for me to photograph it anymore. But when it was, the Cygnus was like in its prime for me to take a picture of it. This actually, I used a 40 millimeter telescope. So a tiny telescope. It literally looks like two toilet paper rolls put together, the two part.
Wait, like a 40 millimeters or 40,
yeah.
40, I think you said 40 meters. And I was
no, 40 millimeters. Sorry. 40 millimeters. It has a focal length of 180 millimeters. So it's 40 millimeters of aperture and 180. So it's a super wide field scope. And with a dual narrowband filter, so you can catch a lot of the red and the green here. And again, this is probably, about 2 hours of integration time. And this is just a beautiful remnant of something exploded here. And this is just the remnants of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a star that went nova. Again, I'm light on the science aspect of it, but this is a beautiful picture.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think there's something to the kind of the unseen portions of the night sky. There's obviously some of these objects, these nebulas, these clusters and galaxies, and certainly the planets that are like really bright, so to speak. But there are these faint, broad, sweeping objects that we can't see, and you really have to dial in your setups to do the right things. Like, I don't remember who it was who just like is... this.
Yeah, this is the Saturn region. So this is the star Saturn, and in Cygnus. So I just aimed at a star, and this is all that HA right there. That is just around that star.
And HA is hydrogen alpha, correct? Like for the filter?
Yeah. Yeah, because space is primarily filled with this HA. So you'll get a lot of that. Sometimes it overpowers the image, actually. But but this is just aiming at a random star. Or, it's obviously pretty beautiful, but it's like, you don't have to aim at a showpiece object. You can just pick actually I'm sure you could talk a little bit about it, the Hubble Deep Field. And then I think James Webb took that same picture where they just aimed it at what they thought was a dead spot in space.
Yep. And they found a heck of a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Not so empty.
Yeah. I mean, and there's still learning from that tiny little narrow sector of the sky, but there's so much to learn from little narrow through the straw kind of places, and also from these ultra wide things. It can teach you so much.
Yeah. And then go ahead. Sorry.
We got a question here from Greg. Absolutely. What is integration time?
So integration time is basically so this image right here, I set the camera's shutter to stay open for 3 minutes. So we call them 3-minute subs. So integration time is the total amount. So if I tell it to go for 2 hours, That might, however many pictures that translates out to, and then I kick out the bad ones because you'll get planes that will leave star trails, or I'm sorry, plane trails. You get like orange and blue green light shooting through here. Sometimes you'll get satellites that will streak through, because again, the telescope mount is keeping the camera tracking with the stars, but the plane is moving faster than the stars, so it'll create that blur effect. So we kick those photos out, and then it's just the total time of photos that we stacked on top of each other. So I don't know if I've got maybe I do here. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
ASI air light. Yeah. So this is what 1 3-minute image looks like of the bubble nebula. So I don't know if you can see that, but so that beautiful picture of the bubble nebula, this is what it was.
Right.
And then you take, 5 hours worth of these 3-minute images, and it kicks out all this grain, all the blue and red and green hot pixels out. This is Messier 52. This is an open star cluster, in case you're wondering.
Cool. Nice.
But, if you were just to do EAA and you just were like, oh, I just want to see, the bubble nebula, taking a single picture, a single 3-minute picture, that's what you get right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like I would flip through these and see how it's kind of like it's doing something called dithering. That's why you'll see it kind of moving around the sky. But I was kind of looking for a bad one, but I think I deleted all the bad pictures already. But that's like what 1 3-minute image looks like.
Totally.
So I hope that answered it.
It does. Yeah. Greg says, thanks for the explanation. I definitely think that helped. So yeah, thanks for taking a moment to explain for the fans.
Yeah. Yeah. And then here's a beautiful galaxy. And this is the Pinwheel Galaxy. M101.
Amazing.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. My mistake. This is the Fireworks Galaxy.
Okay.
So yeah. So this has got like this has had a bunch of supernovas go off. Not recently, but typically there isn't. That's a rare event. And this has had way more than most. And then it's got this cool blue and red, and then this bright core here. It's just like one of my favorite galaxies. Professor Nixie turned me on to this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this target. So like this is really cool. Let's see if we can show you some more galaxies. Here's M31, the Andromeda Galaxy, and you can kind of see these dusty lanes rolling through there. And I believe this is our nearest galaxy.
Yeah.
To us?
Yeah, I believe so. And there's technically 2 that are kind of with it. There, I think.
Yeah, there's 2 other companion ones, but by field of view, and this shot was too small to capture those.
Right, and that's something to note too. Is like that the closest galaxy to us, Andromeda, is so close that you can't fit it into the frame. Which is mind blowing. It's so big that on a good dark sky location that you could see it with your naked eye. If you're like way far away from city lights, you can see it. Mm-hmm. It's a remarkable thing to
right
see.
And then speaking of galaxies that come in clusters, this is the Leo triplets. So it kind of looks like a smiley face in space, but those are 3 bright galaxies that they're right next to each other, like relatively speaking.
Totally. Yeah.
Right.
It's just, again, mind blowing the amount of space in between those 3 things, and we get to see all of them in one picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's all about focal length, getting the right focal length, the right size camera to take that image. And that's why, people like Lewis, Front Yard Astro, myself, we will get multiple rigs, multiple different configurations of those rigs to get that.
Right.
And then this is the Bode's galaxies. So M81, M82. This is the Cigar Galaxy, and this is a beautiful, spiral galaxy right here that you can see. And I love looking at the core of M82. I wonder if we can zoom in.
I was gonna say zoom in on that boy.
Yeah. And then you kind of catch this dust lane here at the core, and a little bit of that hydrogen alpha right here. And all this brightness is just billions of stars all packed in. So all the stars you're seeing here are in the Milky Way. They're between us and this target.
Right.
Yeah, so so when you start thinking of the distances involved, and then you actually, you know, something you took the picture of, you start, you know, trying to wrap your head around it. I mean, oof, it's just, to me, that's just amazing. And then speaking of stars densely packed, here's M13, the globular cluster, the Great Hercules globular cluster in the constellation of Hercules,
Hmm.
the big square. And this is just, you know, a whole bunch. The more you zoom in, the more the stars start to resolve, and you start
Yeah.
seeing how many of these stars are packed in this area right here.
Like, I always, whenever I look at globular clusters like this, I always
Mhm.
try to imagine what it's like to, like, are there planets that have actually formed, or is it too early for those stars? But if there were planets there, and if there was the possibility of life, like, just imagine how insane you would never have nighttime. Like,
Right, how bright it must be over there. Yeah. My
yeah,
understanding is those are the I think Professor Nixie told me once that these are like the prototype galaxies, like that
mm,
these formed before the early galaxies, but now with all the James Webb discoveries, you know, now that kind of put some of those questions back up in the air. Um, you know, with their new data. So it's, but I mean, it's just wild. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I know earlier I mentioned visual astronomy. This is one of those targets that looks amazing in the eyepiece, just amazing. Galaxies will look like, we call them faint fuzzies. Um, they look like almost like gray fudges in the sky. So if you buy a telescope and you're like, Joe, I don't see any bubble in space. No, you have to take a lot of images to draw out that light.
yeah,
But star clusters, you know, these globular clusters, and then the open clusters will look amazing in an eyepiece.
yeah. Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
And
that's
then yeah, I
amazing.
think
What?
that's it for my show and tell.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and
for
then
just a few
oh, go
short years, you have quite the portfolio. You know,
ahead.
that's absolutely remarkable.
Ooh, oh my gosh, we went windows within windows. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. I was like, oh, I'm gonna drop that. Totally. So yeah, I mean, amazing work, man. And that's just, you said you started just a few years ago. So if you're out there and you're looking to possibly get into astrophotography, look what you can do. Look what your view into the galaxy and beyond can be, just with a little bit of practice, a little bit of knowledge, and better yet, a community around to support you. That's all available to you wherever you are. Like,
Yep.
that's the best part about space is, we all get the chance to enjoy it and can have our own slice of the astro pie.
Right,
Um,
right. Things you want to be aware of are light pollution in your area. I forgot to show you the tools. I had a cool map that
mm,
actually, I don't know, can we? Oh, it's still saying I'm streaming. Oh, here we go. Let me go back to that because actually that's a cool thing to talk about light pollution. And because some people go, "Hey, I live in downtown Chicago. Why can't I see this?" Let's bring. I'll just do the entire screen here. It makes things easier.
sure.
Share screen, and let me mute this out, and let's bring up this tool right here. And this is the light pollution map, and then we're kind of focused in here on Chicago. So if you see the bright, I'm hoping, is this coming through?
Yep, I see it. It's good.
Cool. So you can see Indianapolis, Detroit, all the major cities like Columbus. There's a light dome around them, and then like Kenosha, Racine, Milwaukee, you know, Rockford. So to take these images, like this is called, there's something called a Bortle scale. So a
Mhm.
Bortle scale goes like, I think, 1 to 9, one being absolute darkness. And the bluer the area, so if we can click in here, this is a class 2. So if you went, you know, trucked all the way out here to these blue areas, that's when you're going to look up and see so many stars. You would be in awe. You'll see the Milky Way with your bare eye. You'll see Andromeda with your bare eye. Like that M13, you'll be able to see it with your bare eye because it's so bright. Parting whatever advertisings are popping up, I got no control over those. But But I mean, so this gives you kind of an idea. If you live close to a big city, then you're really going to have to deal with light pollution, and we use filters for that. I kind of mentioned dual narrowband filters, uh, and then regular light pollution filters, or just a single pass filter. But
Mhm.
I wanted to bring that up. And then we also talked quickly about focal lengths. And this is a very good website, astronomy.tools. You can go into the like field of view here, and then you can just say, hey, I'm using visual. And you can put in like the Hercules cluster, and then add all your equipment in here. And then it'll spit out an image to show you what your field of view will be. And then you can also use imaging mode, and you can well, we can just, I guess, pick a telescope here at random here. I say at random. And then here I go looking for something. So AT80, so it's an 80 millimeter, it's a 560 focal length. And then we'll just pick ASI, and I love my 533. I just got that one, so we'll use that right there. And let's pick out something. We'll say the Pleiades, because I want to show two different things here. So go add to
Okay.
view, and then see how it forms a square here. But
Mhm.
you're kind of catching the Pleiades, but it's really cutting it off. So what you would do is you would change this for ASI 294, which gives you, oh, not bin 2 mode, bin 1 mode. And then add that to view, and then see how suddenly a camera that's more designed for a wider view, more megapixels,
Yeah.
then suddenly your telescope now can take that picture. And
Wow. Okay.
that this is one of those tools, when if you start to do imaging or even visual, that is going to be very helpful to you to go and discover all this.
That's awesome. I've never seen this website before,
Oh
because
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is
and
great.
you're taking me to school.
Oh, well, trying to be, I'm trying to set the bar high for you.
Right.
And then one last tool, I use a tool on my phone called Astropheric. And this basically, we mentioned earlier during planetary when we were talking about that. And this is the cloud cover, transparency, seeing.
Mm.
The darker the blue, the better.
Okay.
So for planetary, you really want the seeing to be good.
Oh,
Um,
we are losing you a little bit.
oh,
Do you mind
sorry.
repeating the last second? You're back now, but do you mind repeating the
Oh,
thing you
great.
said?
Oh, am I here?
You are here. I hear you.
Okay, great. So this shows the cloud cover. The darker the blue, the less clouds, or it basically says clear. Transparency, that's like you have to think of when we had the Canadian wildfires, it added a lot of smoke to the air. So even if it was a clear night, the transparency was terrible.
Mhm.
And the seeing is the stillness of the atmosphere. So the higher you go, usually the seeing is better because it's less atmosphere you're shooting through. So these are some of the things that for astrophotography, for planetary visual, the seeing, they're very important. And the seeing, especially for planetary viewing, you'll see it as the planet like looks like it's wavy underwater.
Mhm.
It's jumping around the screen. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like if you saw a fish underwater and like somebody threw a rock next to it, like the waves would just like kind of blur out the fish for a second. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, that's my show and tell.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm glad you shared those tools. That's really helpful. We
Cool.
had a couple comments here I'll throw up. That's one of the wonderful things about the Astro community, always sharing knowledge, tips, and tricks.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, we also had a question from my buddy Tony. Where do you travel for your photos?
I go to the distant backyard, which is a Bortle 5 sky. And the few times that I've actually gone on vacation to Door County, or we're having a trip coming up soon to Michigan, the weather always foils me. So I will be bringing my that 40 millimeter scope, that wide, super wide field, because it's just very light, and it's easy to travel, and I can kind of set it up, and if something happens to it, it's not as expensive as my other gear.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, there you're at the mercy of weather, and
Mhm.
and if you're planning on taking trips, another thing to do is look up what the moon phase is.
Yes,
So
it's
you
important.
really want to take pictures, astrophotography during a new moon or when the moon is not up, because that moon adds its own light pollution to your photos.
Right. Just another layer to the onion of devastation. Man. Um, Good questions, everybody. Thank you for participating in the chat. Keep them coming.
Yeah,
We're going to keep rolling this. Joe, you have some amazing photos.
thank
Um,
you.
Again, I'm going to plug you. Be sure to follow
Thank you,
Joe
thank
here
you.
on TikTok, Godfather_Astro.
Thank you. I would appreciate the support.
Yeah. Totes. Cool. Let's see. Where should we go here? I got a couple other things.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm having fun, so shoot away. As long as I'm being entertaining, great. I'm here for you.
yeah, great. So let's see here. You've kind of dabbled a little bit in, or you talked a little bit about um, beginning with, searching for telescope equipment, steer clear from Amazon, talk to a representative who knows what they're talking about, find someone who knows what they're talking about. But would you consider like your loadout, the stuff that you choose? It's like when you buy a car, like you have to assess all of the different aspects of it. Like, do I do road trips with it? Do I
Right.
want to drive fast? Does it need to be able to have go in 0 to 60 in less than 200? I don't know. Do you need that to take your kids to school? Probably not. Like, so would you consider like telescopes to be something similar where you need to have a really good understanding of yourself to make an accurate purchase?
Well, I'll put it to you this way, and I'll say it as in terms of photography, so we can have a like. Do you need a mirrorless, a $2,000 camera to take a picture of your daughter throwing leaves in the air? It can make the picture better, but you can also do it with an old T3i.
Yeah, exactly.
And what I'm saying is, don't get into this hobby and like sometimes people ask me, I have a $10,000 budget. What's the best telescope?
Right.
I would tell you, you know what you really need to learn, and you probably picked it up on this live stream. I kind of don't know all about the sky. You need to know where to go to find the targets that you want. You need to learn the night sky. Oh, summer. There's a summer triangle. These are the constellations that are available to me in the summer. Here are the winter constellations. An 8-inch Dobsonian, a 6-inch Dobsonian, heck, a 130 millimeter Newtonian telescope will give you some amazing views. Enjoy yourself. Don't adding astrophotography and add such a layer of complication that if you're not comfortable, it's like trying to run before you can walk. Like
Yeah.
it's just not going to happen. And don't get hung up on price tags. I use SV Boni equipment, which is a very budget friendly. All the pictures you saw, most of the pictures you saw that I took are taken with a telescope that I think I paid $500 for.
Yeah. Wow.
And then you get some like now there's accessories. It's tricked out, but actually another thing I'd like to say is if you're excited about astrophotography, say, okay, Joe, I have a Dobsonian, but now I want to take pictures. The mount is where the money goes. Like any astro nerd will tell you, any astrophotographer will tell you, don't worry about the telescope. I mean, it's the mount that all the money goes, because if you can't keep the stars from drifting, then astrophotography will be difficult for you.
Right.
It can be done. I mean, but you won't get the images you want to.
It's like
So
tires on your car. You need tires
yes,
to
right. Like there's no point having a Ferrari and then throwing, small tires from a Toyota Tercel.
like
That's not going to work.
bunch of spare tires,
Yeah. Like you need yeah. So like, all of this can be done. It can be done. It can be done really well. There are people that do very budget friendly rigs and do amazing work. That's my point is, I love 102 millimeter refractor. There's no collimation. It doesn't require a long cool down period. It's relatively light. So the mount you have, you don't have to buy a super expensive mount because you're not pushing around, a giant 8-inch Smith Cassegrain, or I'm sorry, like a refractor. Like they make Mac newts, that are like you don't need to push around something super heavy. Um, so uh, the best thing is to try, and with the equipment you have. If you have an old DSLR, buy a mount, or you have a tripod, aim it somewhere and take very short images. Take the wider the camera lens, the longer you can do. Like do a second. Take 21-second pictures, and then use Deep Space Stacker. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? You took a picture of the Milky Way. You
Yeah,
can aim it at the Milky Way. I don't do what's funny is I find Milky Way photography, like I look at it and I love it, and for some reason I just can't make it work. Like so, like I'm just like so. And don't get discouraged. Maybe this little niche thing isn't your thing. Try taking pictures of planets.
Mm-hmm.
Take pictures of the moon. There's so many beautiful. A mineral moon picture. Is amazing. Like there's so much color in the moon. You think it's this big gray thing, but when you kind of bring out the saturation, it's beautiful.
You know who does really great mineral moon pictures is Cosmic Backyard. It's Andrew McCarthy.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He does incredible stuff, and a lot of his work is like really artistically done. Like really like over exaggerated for the sake of like trying to get the point across. Like, and when he does those moon photos to bring out the true colors that are in the moon, the blues and the reds, you're like, the moon isn't blue and red or orange or whatever, but it's like, yeah, there is so much more to it. But you kind of have to get up close and personal. But you can, with these devices that we have access to here nowadays that are off the shelf, you can detect these things and bring into life using free software, and we can share them with the world. It's such a cool thing.
And now they're budget all-in-one setups, like the Dwarf 2. Now ZWO came out with the C Star, I want to call it, and they're these little devices that they're like, I think they're very short focal length, so very similar to the 40 millimeter scope I have, and you run it all through your phone, and I think they're like around $500. Mm-hmm. So to kind of get a device that will let you take pictures of some of these beautiful nighttime objects, and all it is you plunk it down and you kind of just, get used to the software. We live in great times, man.
Yeah.
It's definitely Joe proof. It's nice.
Right. It totally is. And I started my astrophotography journey with my telescope, and I never bought my telescope with the hopes of doing astrophotography. I was like, I'm just going to look through the eyepiece and be happy. And then I decided in 2012, maybe, I put my iPhone 4S to my eyepiece, and I realized, here we go. It just started. It was a slippery slope after that. And you can do, there's so much access with smartphones. The like the planetary camera that I have that does amazing images of planets. Like, this is $250.
Yep.
This is not expensive. You don't need to spend. I would have, if you had shown this to me 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh, it's like $2,500. I would have thought it would have been 10 times as much.
Right.
And it's so accessible.
Yeah. It's just you once you learn what the limitations of your equipment are, and you just work within that parameter, you're fine then. Like okay, so that camera can take pictures of planets, and it can take pictures of globular clusters. So you've got M5, M3, M13, M92. Like, you've got all these globular clusters. They're all a little different. And you can do that with that, budget-friendly dedicated camera. And you can do the moon, Jupiter, Saturn. You just need, the proper mount and some patience.
Right. Exactly. The right combination. It's a cocktail of stuff, right?
Which I'm having after this is over. I gotta plug right. Like, I'm having too much fun now, though.
Yeah. Right. So let's shift gears here. What's something that you haven't shot or attempted to shoot or even view through your telescope, but something you have kind of in your target list you're just dying to see or attempt to do that you've never done before?
So I'll give you some inside baseball. So the next target is called the Ghost of Cassiopeia, and it's like a nebula that looks like a ghost.
Okay.
So Cassiopeia. So if you kind of noticed my trend, if you follow me on TikTok, is I've been following the constellations that are kind of rising in the north and kind of headed east. Because the way my backyard's situated, I've got a good view of the northeastern sky. So Cygnus was there, so I was all about Cygnus. Then what was like near Cepheus, and so then I was doing targets there. And now Cassiopeia, or the Queen, is starting to rise in that section. So that's why now I got the Bubble Nebula. And now the ghost was a picture I saw. Oh my gosh, I really wish I could remember what AstroNerd took it. Oh, I'm sorry, bud. I wish I could throw you out there, but I can't remember you. It's starting to go up here. And I was just like floored. I was like, that is stunning. It just visually looks stunning. So I'm going to try it. I did actually, I've got the gear set up in the backyard. So as soon as this is over, I'm going to go run and polar align because it's a long weekend, so I don't have to be asleep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I can actually stay up late tonight and point my telescope at the ghost for a little bit and try and get some multiple nights on the ghost. So that is the next target that I am aiming for, and I'm pretty excited. Fall's coming, so you need something spooky.
Yeah, it's true. Good point. It is spooky season. It's gotta kick on the door.
Right.
Yeah,
all the spirit Halloweens are opening up. So
true. Yeah.
That's how I know Halloween's coming. The first signs of the spirit Halloween stores.
We just drove by one locally the other day, and I asked my wife. I said, "Are those things ever going to die? Like, those are always guaranteed to exist? Like, how have they endured all of time? I don't understand."
There are three constants in life: death, taxes, and cheap Halloween costumes. Like those three things will always be needed.
I think we've hit some blips with the connectivity here.
Oh no!
Have I been choppy at all? I've been seeing a little bit of
choppiness. You kind of broke up, and you've been kind of freezing, but your audio has been coming through. So I don't know if I'm suffering the same fate, but
okay, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe we're both hitting little blips, but hopefully it levels out here. Great. Well, yeah, good luck on your shots. And there it was. I totally forgot tomorrow is Labor Day, and we're we can stay up late with no consequences, right? That's how it works.
Yes, very excited.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anybody who's still hanging out with us, thank you so much. It's been an hour and 40 minutes of awesome astro conversation. Please do feel free to submit questions in the chat for Joe if you got them. We'll probably wrap up here shortly. I see I've got 15% battery on my camera here. I can I ordered an adapter for an AC power adapter for the camera, but it didn't come in time. I just realized that I'd have to run on batteries, which would be as simple as throwing another one in. You just lose my feed for about 30 seconds, but maybe we can use that as a metric for wrapping up here shortly.
Right. That's okay. Hey, I've really enjoyed myself. So whenever you want to, like have me back on or whenever, buddy, we're there.
Sweet.
Just let me know, and I'll definitely hop on, and we can, BS for a bit. And I still want that Portillo sandwich though.
Yeah, I got you, man. I got you. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not even kidding. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Yes.
Let's go like beyond the astrophoto lens, pun intended. I'm gonna do that.
Hey, look at you.
I'm riding it.
It's 3D. It always comes in threes.
Have you ever seen a rocket launch before?
No, not in person. I have not.
Would you ever try to go or want to go?
I would love to go down to Florida and Cape Canaveral and see a rocket launch. I think that would be amazing. Actually, I'm very lucky because there's a TikTok creator, Sunshine Nate, and oh dang it, I forgot what her name is. Ooh, I'm sorry, but but there's another lady who does that same thing, that they aim cameras and sometimes they'll go side by side. Maybe someone in the comment section will know. Oh dang, I really should know her name. Oh, I'm sorry. But yes, like it. Oh, thank you, Star Walker. I'm glad you had fun. Yeah, it's been. That's would be great. That would be great.
Yeah. Have you
Thanks,
ever been
Louis.
to Kennedy Space Center at all, even for a launch, or not for a launch, but just to visit?
No, no. The only thing that I can say that I saw was at the Washington, because sometimes I have to go to Washington D.C. for work,
Mm.
and we went to the Air and Space Museum
Oh,
there,
cool.
and they have, you know, and this is what bothers me all the time. Like my hobbies and then my travels don't sync. So
Mm-hmm.
like so I didn't know anything about space when I took that trip to DC and got to go to that air and space. So yeah, oh my gosh, that look at that capsule, that's amazing. But not like I would look at it now and go, I want to touch it.
Yeah.
You know, it's been in
Right.
space.
Can I lick it? Yeah.
Right. I just let me get all the space germs. I want them all. You know, so like it just doesn't work out for me that way. Like I'll always be like, ah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's such a cool thing. If you ever do get the chance to go to Kennedy, I've been there 3 times now, and it never gets old.
oh man, I gotta do that.
When you were in DC, did you get to see Discovery, Space Shuttle Discovery?
I don't think so.
Okay. Like the 3, technically 4, but 3 remaining shuttles. They're all over the country. I've seen 2. I've seen Atlantis at Kennedy Space Center, and I've seen Endeavour in California. That's in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's cool.
I can't remember. California Institute of Science or some facility like that. It's a big museum, and they have a couple other capsules too.
Yeah. I remember seeing them moving space shuttles, like driving them through cities to bring them into like, and that's just amazing that it's, you know, like those old birds need that respect. Like, I think they should trot them out all the time, you know?
Yeah, that was Endeavour on the way to the museum in LA. That I remember watching that. Gosh, that was in 2011 afterwards. So 2011, 2012, whenever they brought it there. And it was like through a neighborhood. They had this giant truck that was pivoting it like on this like lift where it could like shimmy it in the middle of the drive, and people are outside their houses, they're on their decks.
Isn't that awesome? I think like that's so awesome. Like that reminds me of those old World War II parades. You know, we're watching the troops marching home, and you know, it's kind of like an old soldier. You know, it's just like it's such a such a win for humanity, and you know, and that's why watching other countries like the Indian Space Agency land on the southern pole of the moon, it is so great. And then there was an Italian astronaut. I should know what her name is, but she had a picture of her holding the Italian flag in the ISS, and I was so proud because I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, that's like, you know, where my family's from. And she's and then she wore a Star Trek commander uniform, so I was very proud of that.
It was probably Samantha Cristoforetti, I think.
There you go. Exactly. Yes, exactly. She or her, like, so when she broke out the uniform, I was like, see, that's perfect. Like, because I totally would do that. I mean, I'd be Star Wars, but I would do that.
Dude, I'm right there with you. Yeah. Italy has had some really remarkable astronauts. Samantha Cristoforetti. I have her book, Diary of an Astronaut, I think is the name of the book.
Oh, I gotta. Okay, yeah. Please send that to me in the Discord or something, because I'd like to get that audio book or get it. Yeah.
Totally. I haven't read it yet, but I do own it, and I'm really looking forward to it. Luca Parmitano was the other huge name in the Italian, like the European Space Agency, but the Italian side of it. He's been a multi-flight astronaut and done amazing things. He actually had one of those like kind of like horror stories where he had water started leaking in his helmet on the spacewalk in 2013. And he had to like abort to get in. He was like literally going to drown if he didn't abort the spacewalk and get inside. There was like one of the, I don't know if it's the water cooling or the drinking water system leaked into his helmet, and crazy stuff. But he's got, that dude is next level too, because he also was, I think he's like a multi-event athlete. I can't remember if it's just cycling or if it's like triathlon or Ironman or one of those. He's like a super athlete on the side, you know.
They have to be like athletes to be an astronaut. Like the amount of wear and tear it puts on your body, the amount of bone mass that you lose because so you almost have to like build mass to just know that you're going to lose some of it
Mhm.
because there's no like the concept of there's no gravity. There's like our whole body's geared towards carrying this weight with this gravity, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you minus out the gravity. Like you're like the fact that your organs still function is
Yeah.
like a testament to whoever designed this.
Yeah.
You know, I might want a little refund, but like on par, it's usually really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think over time, at least the more like accounts from astronauts that I've read or watched videos of, is that it's becoming more and more, I don't want to say lenient or relaxed, but like reasonable. Like obviously with the 60s, you know, with the Mercury and Gemini and Apollo astronauts, they're like these superhero test pilot military guys, like perfect fitness. Yeah. And then like as it went on, when the shuttle program started coming through, the standards widened a little bit, and it was like, yeah, you don't have to have 100% vision. You can actually just wear glasses and you can still fly, like in a lot of scenarios, like or even like strength. You don't have to be this like eight pack, you know. You can bounce a
So you're saying
ball
there's
off the
hope
room.
for me?
Yeah, right, exactly. Exactly. For
So like
us,
I got a
really.
bourbon leak in my helmet. Hang on, I'll fix that problem. Houston, problem is resolved. Problem is resolved.
Yeah. And then they're gonna call up and they're like, yeah, Joe, that was filled
Yeah,
with acid and you didn't
right.
realize it.
No, it's not. I changed that. I figured coolant's coolant.
Right. Yeah, it's keeping me cool. Oh, that's so funny. Just really quick, a shout out here. Hello, the Sentinel. I remember you
Hey.
from the last stream I did. I believe you were from the UAE. This was
Oh,
a
hey.
new viewer from around the world. Thank you for
That's
coming
awesome.
back. Good to see you. Yeah, so I see 6% of my battery. So maybe we swing around third base here and bring it home.
Yeah.
And see where that brings us here in the next couple of minutes. But yeah, I think like you're saying, there's probably a billion other things we could probably talk for more hours on. Clearly, there's I mean, you're just so easy and fun to talk to, and
Oh,
I'm
thanks.
so grateful for you again making the space and the time, and for sharing your expertise and your experience. You know, you are an accomplished astrophotographer and have so much to share with everybody. I hope everyone in the chat or any viewer right now live or further in the future who might find this video,
Yeah.
hopefully you were enriched by Joe's experience and passion. And again, I'm going to throw it up there because I think it's important. Do support Joe, give him a follow on TikTok, engage in his videos, watch his content. I know one of the things about being a creator is eventually reaching the point where you do get funded by the platforms you participate on. And even TikTok, you know, is one that can support based on how many views you get or followers. There's sort of different tiers. You know, so for people like Joe who maybe might be earning something at some point, it matters because that money can go into the equipment that in return like shows you the live stream that you get to view, or that next really cool image that he's showing. Maybe it was because he was able to upgrade, you know, his piece of equipment because of the support that you're able to give him. So every little bit matters, every follow, every view, it all comes back right around to you guys. And in some way, it's like this beautiful circle. So just a little plug there.
Thank you. I do appreciate it. No, and guys, I've been very blessed with a lot of support on the TikTok platform with with my followers and the Astro Nerd community. Again, none of what I accomplished, what I showed you today, was possible without the great support from the Astro Nerd community. So if you're aspiring to do what I showed today, please join that community. Please support those creators. The amount of work and effort they put in, and you know, and give back to this community, I wouldn't be here without it. So I owe them a lot.
Totally. It's a good group of people. Great. Well, let's call it there. Joe, thank you again. You're the best. I do owe you Portillo's. Well, I will.
I'm
You
gonna
can
hold
hold
you
me
to
to
that.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't maintain this physique for astronaut training without Portillo's in my life.
Right.
So
Exactly. Well, I mean, you got the proof right here. It'll stay on YouTube unless I delete it. But don't worry, I'll be real and true to my word there. Because
awesome.
let's be honest, I get Portillo's out of it too. So-
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, have a great night. And thank you everybody again for tuning into the stream. Say your goodbyes in the chat if you got it. And again, want to ask you for your support too, as well here on the Orbital Alliance. If you'd like the stream, please give it a like, a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing and even sharing this stream video if you thought maybe, hey, I know somebody who might enjoy learning about astrophotography or how to get started or anything like that. It'd be a really great thing. It might help. It will help out the channel and the direction we're going here. Again, we are continuing this series, this video podcast, just like this in the future. The goal is to be kind of every other week, so every 2 weeks you'll be seeing one. I'm not quite sure the day will stay exactly Sunday night. That are going to depend on the availability of the guests that I end up booking. But the goal is to have somebody new in here as often as possible to bring just different perspectives from all over the world, just so we can all learn the most about space. So grateful again for everybody. And we'll see you guys all on the other side of the world.
Bye, everybody.
So long, everybody. Have a good night.